Hello.
1, 2, 3, funk it.
Hello. For those of you who don't know, this is my bunny. Her name is Panda because she's black and white. We're gonna tell a story. You weren't really there though, so this isn't your story to tell. And this video is technically going to be like a my experience studying abroad video, but I kind of thought that that would be a little bit boring unless like anyone actually wants to hear about my experience and like tips and stuff that I have if you're planning to study abroad. So if you do want to see that video, please leave a comment. But otherwise, I'm just gonna tell you a crazy story that happened to me while I was in Japan. Okay. Yeah. Okay. It's just, yeah, okay. Okay, so as you probably read in the title of the video, while I was in Japan, me and my friend were approached by a cult. Yeah, we didn't know it at first though. But anyway, so me and two of my friends, Charlotte and Cordula, you've seen them probably in my other videos, we were walking to the station, I think. We were going to see my host family. And while we were walking to the station, we were like kind of in a hurry because we were going to meet my host family to watch fireworks. And this like lady like started running after us, and she didn't speak any English really, but like I could like pretty much understand what she was saying. And she was like, oh, like, where are you guys from? Like, me and my friends really want to like talk to some like exchange students and like hear about why you chose to study abroad in Japan and blah 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 blah. And we're like, oh, like that sounds really cool, but like we're going to do like we have something that we're like going to do, we don't want to be late. She was like, oh, okay, well the hair in my mouth. She was like, okay, well why don't we like exchange our Line contacts. For those of you who don't know, Line is like the main messaging app that they use in Japan. So she was like, let's exchange like our lines and like meet up on Sunday and have like lunch together or something. And we were like, yeah, that sounds cool. And I was ecstatic because I was like, yeah, we get to talk to some Japanese people. Most of the students are like really shy to like talk to exchange students, so I'm like, heck yeah, I get to talk to a Japanese person, I get to practice my Japanese, this is gonna be great. And so we were all like, yeah, that like sounds like really cool, like let's do it. Anyways, so we're like, yeah, let's meet up on Sunday and have lunch together. So Sunday comes around, and Charlotte ended up not being able to make it because she was writing papers and stuff. She had a lot of homework. And so just me and Cordula went. And we met up with them at this like super cheap restaurant that's like right by the college. And like met up with the ladies. There were like 4 of them. Like we thought it was just gonna be like her and like a couple other, but there were like a bunch of like middle-aged women. And they called us over and we sat down and we ordered our food and started eating and just like talking about like regular stuff, like super normal. Like they asked how our time was and like what we like to do, I think, I don't know. They're just asking really normal questions. And then Cordula and I finished our meal, and then like all of a sudden like the atmosphere just gets like really serious. And this lady like pulls out these like flyers kind of that has like Mount Fuji on it and everything's in Japanese. I couldn't read it because I don't know enough kanji to read that. But they like handed it, like showed it to us, and they were like, then, so this is where it gets kind of funny because like these ladies knew that we couldn't speak Japanese like that well because like we had to ask them to repeat stuff, like their questions and stuff. And then like all of a sudden she starts talking so fast, like she has to know that like we cannot understand everything that she's saying. But the gist of it was like basically they were trying to get us to join a cult. And like they were like, one of the ladies was like, oh, like we believe in this, and if you pray 3 times a day your life will get so much better, and like blah 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 blah. And one lady was like, yeah, my son didn't have any friends, and then we started doing this and we started praying to Mount Fuji. I don't know who they were praying to be honest, but like Mount Fuji was on the flyer, so I was like, is this on Mount Fuji God? Like, I don't know what this is. They were just like, and we started praying 3 times a day, and then my son got a whole bunch of friends and became super popular. And another lady was like, yeah, when I used to do this when I was in college, and I got really good grades, and like blah 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 blah, and like if you pray 3 times a day, it's gonna end war in the world, and like people aren't gonna die of starvation, like just random crap. That's obviously not working because it's not working. Yeah, so anyways, so just like spouting all these things, like if you pray 3 times a day, basically the world will just be perfect. And Cordula and I are just like looking at each other like, oh crap, like what did we get ourselves into? And luckily, like, we're pretty sure they didn't speak any English. And so then they asked us to come with them to like their like temple or whatever. And they're like, yeah, let's go like real quick, we can get you like indoctrinated, like we'll start this ritual and you can join our religion and help save the world and blah 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 blah. Like, like what? And we're like, no, we're not. Like, no. What? No, we're not gonna go with you somewhere. We didn't say that. But that's what I'm thinking in my head, like, what? I just met you, I'm not gonna go with you in your car to your, what? No. Anyways, so I look at Cordula and I'm like, you know what's going on, right? She's like, yeah, we can't do this. And so we like told them like, we have tests tomorrow and like we really need to study, so like we can't go with you today, like we really gotta study. Because they were like legit just wanting to like go, like leave the restaurant and just go straight to this place. And so I told her that, and she was like, oh, but like if you start doing this, you'll get a really good grade on your test. And I was just like, freaking heck. And they like tried to convince us to go with them, and I was like looking at Cordula and I was like, we cannot go with them. And she was like, yeah, we cannot go with them. And so I like told her, I was like, no, like it's a really big test, like we should really study for it, but like maybe we can go with you a different day. And so they're like, okay, like well, just like message us online, we can go on Wednesday or something, like blah 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 blah. And we're like, okay. And then they were like, I kind of felt bad, but like also not that bad. But they were like, don't worry about your meal, like we'll pay for it, like blah 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 blah. And I was like, well, that makes me feel bad because we're definitely not going with you this Wednesday. Nope, we're not. But anyways, so yep. So then actually what kind of funny is Cordula tells me afterwards, she's like, these are the same people who like tried to kidnap me in like some other part. Like she arrived to Japan before the rest of us got here, and so she was traveling around, and like these people like tried to do the same thing and like literally like took her into this like temple house place and like tried to like get her to do this ritual and stuff, and she was like no, and like ran away. So she like told me the story about how that happened, and I was like, oh cool, like glad that didn't happen to us, like what the heck. And I talked to my one of our Japanese friends about it like later, and he was like, oh, like don't pay any attention to them, like they do that all the time to like, especially to exchange students, because they like think that we're like gonna easily be converted or whatever. And yeah, and it's just like weird because like it wasn't terrible, and the ladies were like actually really nice, like middle-aged ladies. Like I'm sure we wouldn't have had anything to fear from them. I mean, we didn't want to be disrespectful, and like later we texted them and we were like, I'm sorry, like we're not gonna be able to go with you, like we're not sure about this, like people that I've ever had. So yeah, that's the juice. That's the juice. Actually, there are some other like cult stories. I'm pretty sure the reason, like if you go to Japan, there's no trash cans, like public trash cans anywhere. And I know part of it is because of a cult that started putting bombs in trash cans. So the government was like, we just won't have any public trash cans. So that's why when you go to Japan, you have to like literally carry your trash around with you everywhere. So luckily, it wasn't one of those cults that we ran into. If you study abroad in Japan, especially if you're like we were pretty close to Tokyo, like we were in a pretty big city, you feel like really safe, like all the time. Like that was like one thing that like was just weird. Like you feel safe, like nobody's gonna do anything to you because like they're just not. It's really safe. And like even in the cafeteria, like students just like leave their backpacks and like go get food, and like nobody does anything to your crap because everyone's really respectful, and like honor is a big deal and stuff like that. So, and like even in this situation, it's not that I really felt unsafe because it was just like a bunch of middle-aged women. Like what were they really gonna do? But like it still wasn't that scary. But like in the moment when they're like, oh, let us take you to our leader, like it was just weird. It was just really weird and like kind of an awkward thing to try and get out of. But yeah, that's the end of the story. If you want to hear more about my experience in Japan, or if you want like advice and tips about study abroad, please comment. Yeah, just comment or like DM me on Instagram. I'll put my Instagram handle at the end. But yeah, I hope this was an exciting story for you.